Yeah.
This is Shaan, and
Hi.
Shaan is trying to introduce me.
This is Avanti. I've known her since, ages. We
Yes.
just never really spent time together. And yeah, Avanti, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit, because she does a lot of things, like a lot of things.
Well, namaste everyone. My name is Avanti. I am an artist, a singer-songwriter. I am also a content creator and YouTuber. I also... well, yes, but in those things, the content that I make besides music is in the education spaces, a lot of, I guess, life skills and taboo topics also. We talk a lot about mental health and sex education and, you know, things you should know. It's just a lot of things. It's very personality-driven content. And we've opened up a studio called The Dream Space, which is a multi-purpose creative space and creative network. So currently those are the three primary things that I'm working on, but it's been a lot. And we have an album coming out later this year. A ton of stuff happened.
Jesus, bro. I'm a DJ.
No, this is not true. Shaan also does 10,000 things.
Yeah, you kind of have to, in all fairness. And it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, you have to, in the sense of if you want to be able to build a sustainable career, at least in the past couple years when we've not been able to tour properly.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the reason I started content in this way, to be honest.
Yes. My phone is vibrated, so it's just gonna... Yeah, I've got ADHD, so my brain just goes...
You're like, what's happening? No, that's okay. I understand. The reason I started doing other content in addition to music was because we weren't able to perform properly for the past 2 years. And I am very extroverted as a person, and I also just like missed that rush you get when you're on stage.
That's a different level of... Honestly, that's just a different level of like feedback of energies.
Truly.
It's beautiful.
It is, and it's so funny because you and I talked about this, right? A lot of people we're surrounded by in our industries, they, you know, get high from other substances. We don't. For us, it's just the stage is our platform, which gives us that rush. You know?
No, honestly, like that. I have that conversation with so many people because everyone kind of thinks that, oh, you're a DJ or a musician or whatever. They have, especially with DJs, they think they have this huge stereotype in their head that, oh, you're supposed to do drugs. You're supposed to be on something. You're supposed to be smoking. And I just go and I'm like, dude, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I've never touched a single drug in my life, apart from like, vitamin C's and shit like that. But I have
That's
vitamin C.
vitamin.
It gives you a nice little kick. No, but it's just that whole. Then I have to explain to them the energy you get from the people. Yeah. That joy of it's as simple
and from
as
the craft as well.
Yeah,
you know?
And it's honest, and it's one thing is from everything that you do as well. The one aspect is that it's as simple as you have that audience in your eye line and they're looking at only you, and those 90 minutes, whatever, even 15 seconds in terms of content, you're kind of giving them that level of peace that they might not be having in their lives.
Totally.
And you don't know what they're going through. So it's kind of exciting to be able to hold that kind of power, you could say.
Yeah.
And that's where you feed off it. You feed off that love you get from them and you give that back.
100%. It's a sense of power, and I truly feel it's a sense of responsibility also, right? Especially with the internet age, this tagline or title of influencer, which is like, oh my god.
It's really a controversial topic, but do you like that tag?
I don't. I prefer the term. Because I'm also an artist, I can say artist, you know? Yeah. So Shaan told me off camera, he's like, I have a lot of road rage, so this is
I'm like containing it. She's ready for like something to happen.
No, I feel safe. Just FYI, I feel
There's
safe.
a reason I have a car in front of me who's my team who's driving me around, so I don't no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I actually really wanted to tap into the topic, Avanti, of how you started this entire process out. I know because we were signed to the same management as Sharkening ages back.
Yes.
And this is when you were performing live, and you just I think you just had come back from the US.
I was in college at the time, so I was like, every time I'd come back, they would do my media bookings.
And I want to know how that started more than anything else, because I know a little bit of it, but I would love for your audience also to know how that really came to birth.
Yeah, of course.
Because I know you do have history within family of music to some extent, so
totally.
That was already a base. But I would love to hear that from you.
No, वो कहते हैं वो माहौल होता है घर पे, right? That environment to nurture things. For me, I was born in the US and I lived there all my early childhood. And my mom's pretty spiritual, so I was surrounded by bhajans and devotional music. So that's what I did early on. And my dad plays the tabla. By profession, he's in the tech industry, but tabla's always been a passion of his. And So as a result, I was surrounded by that. And then when I moved to India, I started training in Indian classical music.
Yeah.
Then I went to a Christian high school, so had a lot of like choral and gospel background. I used to do a lot of theater, both in and outside of school. And then I started doing a lot of professional theater when I was about 16, 17. I was the featured singer in the Vagina Monologues, Emotional Creature. And then I actually decided to... So colleges in the US are... And now, because of COVID, a lot more in India as well. But especially in the US, they were very comfortable with people taking what we call a gap year, right?
Yeah.
So I'd gotten in to Harvard, and I was like, I want to come next year. And they're like, that's fine. Because I had this opportunity to play...
Yeah, it's Harvard. Next year, it's okay.
I had this opportunity to play the lead role in this show called Agnes of God. It was a theater production that was... Like, my role was acting and singing, which is why I agreed to it. And the singing was like old choral Gregorian chants, Ave Maria, that style, and I've never like explored that side, so I was like, I'm really excited. And so I took that year off primarily to do this show, but also to explore what doing music would be like, right?
Make up your mind.
Gaadi kya kare?
I need a camera just for like the
yeah, exactly. because the thing is, I always loved music, right? And I was performing a ton, but I never had considered it to be a potential profession. And it was always a passion. And so for all of my childhood, I grew up around a lot of doctors. All my grandparents are doctors, aunt and uncle, etc. So for the longest time, I wanted to be a doctor. And then when I was a teenager, I had more nuance. So I wanted to do something in the global health space. Whether that meant working with, say, like the World Health Organization or, you know, at a think tank or whatever that might be. But I was always really clear that I wanted to combine that with the arts and media because I saw a lot of power to that. I'll give you an example. When you go to a film, I actually haven't been to a movie theater in 2 years. Have you been?
Oh, yeah, but
okay. Oh, you want last?
KGF, dude, you have to watch KGF.
Really?
Mental.
Okay, I'll check it out. But if you go to a movie theater in India, you will see, before the movie starts, you will see the national anthem where everyone has to stand up, and you will also see this anti-smoking commercial.
Oh god, yeah.
Right? Which is terribly produced, okay? It's terribly produced. It's also like half dubbed. I don't know what it is. But I remember watching that, I'm like, this happens every single time, and is there any backing to this? So actually, while I was on my gap year, Harvard had just opened up a public health research center in India, which I was helping set up as well. And one of the...
Somebody should make a list of all of this. I will literally pay you 10,000 rupees, whoever's watching this, if you can list down everything that's happened that she has done till now, while I'm just, madam, 5-star Uber rating.
Oh god. And one of the people who was, you know, kind of involved in helping set it up actually did a lot of work in the tobacco industry, like looking at tobacco in the global health space. Okay. So I was curious. I was like, you know, I keep watching this commercial or this, you know, ad, and I'm like, does it really help? And she showed me research, and statistically, that really shitty ad had helped reduce the purchasing of tobacco by 30%. It was very interesting to me. I'm like, so if something that's this badly made can do this, what happens if it's well made?
Fair enough.
Right?
Yeah.
What happens if you actually...
And that's actually a very simple question.
Yeah. What happens if you actually create content that, you know, has these messages of social impact and all of these things, but it's done in a way that people understand? And I understood why it worked, because if you notice, anti-smoking commercials in India will always be like, do this for your daughter, for your mother, for your whatever. It's always like that family, you know, John.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look in the West, many of them it's you and your lungs. So they're appealing to the cultural sensitivity of collectivism versus individualism, all of these things, right? So I was like, this is a cool space. I would love to, like, you know, do something in the global health space where I'm helping build this stuff. Then, that whole year, I also started performing and writing music. And interestingly, I don't know if you remember, but this was back in 2016. If you were a DJ, there were still clubs and things you could perform at.
Yeah, and that time especially because it was peaking for EDM.
The EDM. But if you were a singer-songwriter, or specifically a pop singer like I was, there weren't too many opportunities. And, you know, it wasn't as like... There wasn't that level of izzat and respect if you performed at a bar or a, you know, restaurant.
I mean, I know. Especially for a singer. If you're a DJ, it's fine. But if you're a singer, it seemed like especially the Indian mindset.
Exactly. Kya kar rahe, all of that, you know. And it was funny because when I took the year off, my parents... I mean, when people saw the theater show, then they were really excited to come watch it. But my parents had told people, wo global health mein kuch kar rahi hai, and she's trying this out, right? Because they needed a societal cover for why I'm doing it. And so... at that time, I was like, okay, I want to get stage experience, but how am I going to get it without this, right?
Yeah.
So interestingly, because I used to do a lot in the global health space, even when I was a teenager, I used to do a lot in like the organ donation space and the CPR and first aid space, a lot of different things. Okay. As a result, I knew a lot of people in NGOs, global health companies, things like that, and so I performed at a lot of their fundraisers.
I saw that, yeah. I used to see this,
And it was really interesting because, so whether they were raising money for a charity or a cancer foundation or whatever, that was great because I got to perform at really cool venues because, you know, they often book out really cool venues, and I got that performance experience. Watching Shaan drive should be just like cuts in this episode because
it'll be zooming into my face.
Yeah. And that was amazing. And then that time I also started writing original music, everything, and I realized I loved doing this. Then I also started performing at festivals like the, you know, the High Street Phoenix used to have festivals and all of that. So I started doing that, and I was like, I love doing this. I want to explore this more. In parallel, this theater show was happening, and I was 17 turning 18, and my two co-actors were 50 and 70. So I learned so much from them. And 4 days before opening night, we were at the director's house practicing, and we get a call from someone saying, hi, we filed an FIR against you, and we want to imprison the director and arrest the cast.
Jesus.
And we were like, we thought it was a prank call, right?
Unfortunately, that is controversial thing. That's a very Indian thing to happen.
I know, and I'm just like, what? So we got so confused, and then it turned out it was real. It was this guy who clearly wanted money, fame, power, or something, but he used a religious angle, and so was able to get the home ministry involved, and it was this whole situation. And I had just turned 18, right? And so when you're a minor, you still have some protection.
Yeah.
But when you turn 18, I would get calls every single day. Aapki jaan khatre mein, how do you feel? Like, blah, 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 blah. It was madness. And our opening night was supposed to happen at, I think, Sophia or Andrews.
Yeah.
And they pulled out. All of the Christian donor-backed venues pulled out because of the pressure from that community. So then NCPA was like, okay, cool. NCPA is like a well-known, for those who don't know, it's like a well-known performing arts venue here. They're like, okay, cool, you can host it on a Monday. So we're like, okay, we'll do our opening night on a Monday for English theatre, which nobody comes and watches in India anyway. And we're like, if we get 500 people, that'll be amazing. The capacity was 1,500. We had 15,000 people show up.
15,000?
Yes. Because, as they say, no press is bad press, right? And people were also like so curious, what is this? If anyone's interested, just like type in Agnes of God controversy. Don't even type in India or my name, and you will just see.
That sounds like some historical thing that people
right?
Just keep like Agnes of God controversy in 2016, and suddenly they find out it's a play.
Yeah, exactly, right? They're like, oh, what happened? No, but it was mad. It was truly mad, and we had 80 policemen in the audience. And all like Marathi speaking policemen, right? And they're like, like, what is in this play? That's so whatever. There was nothing. It was just, and it's interesting because that play, a lot of the topics that it touched upon were things like child abuse and mental health and things like that, which are so important to talk about and represent in art, right?
I mean, that's what we've been actually doing, which I really, really appreciate more than anyone else, because I mean, I've gone through my own stuff in terms of mental health and stuff, and no one's really in the artist space, especially. I mean, along the music, not in the music single songwriter space, they have spoken about it, but in like the DJ producer space, there's not many people that do speak about it. So it's, even if you speak about it, it actually makes a big difference. And
100%.
Especially in a country that it's like, I mean, unfortunately, majority of our country is from the like tier 2, tier 3, where they have this like, oh, tu marde hai, you can't feel sad.
No, exactly.
You know? And you're just like,
no,
like, I mean,
everyone is human. Everyone has emotions.
So I know. In a way, I really appreciate that of what you've been doing.
You. It's you know, when I released a song last year called Suntolo, which is about, and a lot of my music is in English, but I also do songs in Hindi. That song I knew I had to do in Hindi because, like you said, to make it accessible across the country.
And the thing with that also is that with that song, the message about just listen.
Yeah, literally.
It's nothing. I mean,
all you need to do is listen.
And honestly, I will have conversations with my friends. Some friends, I mean, you know who we're talking about. They have been conversations when we were just like, he was kind of understanding a larger aspect of my mental health.
Yeah.
I would say something and I'd have a logical answer to it. And I'm like, bro, just listen. I don't want an answer. I just want to tell you how I feel. Just sundulo na. Like, don't need to give me an answer. It's simple as that. Like, you want to take it out. And sometimes when you do express yourself, you have the answer within yourself again. You're like, wait, when you're speaking, you're like, wait, I actually figured it out.
Yeah.
It's that easy. And that's why that song actually makes so much sense. Before we wrap this up, Avanti, you're going to teach me how to sing in 3 minutes.
In 3 minutes. Okay, great. So the first thing
I
you
can't
need to
sing,
know...
FYI, at all. All the vocals you hear on my song are not me.
The first thing you need to know about singing is it's actually about your breath.
Okay, interesting.
More than anything else. So it's all about breath control. So
Okay.
do me a quick favor and take a deep breath.
Okay.
Now breathe out. Okay, I want you to do the same thing, breathing in with your mouth and breathing out with your mouth.
Got it.
Which part of your body moved?
Chest.
So you should not move your chest when you deep breathe.
Okay.
Actually, it is your gut and your diaphragm that needs to move. So watch me take a deep breath.
Okay, yeah, I see that. Yeah.
You think of it as a balloon.
Oh, yeah.
So now do what I'm doing. One more time.
Yeah, make a breath as well.
Before we get into making sound, can you do a lip trill? Can you do... Amazing. So let's do that with sound. No, great. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is, whatever you think your range is, I'll give you an example. So I'm going to deep breathe in, and I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to go low to high, whatever that
Okay.
means to me. Try doing that.
With your mouth, though.
Yeah. Perfect. Now I want you to, don't imagine that there's
Okay.
any boundaries. Go as high as you think you can and as low. I'll try mine.
The helium balloon. Wait, go as high
And as low, yeah.
That's so dry. Wait.
That's okay. Okay, so now if you can't do the lip all the way,
Oh, that's interesting.
right? The other thing you can do is, can you do
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, so try doing the same thing with that. But take a deep breath first.
Yeah. Man's going to McDonald's while I'm doing this.
Exactly, right? So you're going through your pitches. Now I want you to just, we're not gonna still sing, we're
Yeah.
gonna hum, okay? So,
Okay.
on any note.
Very low.
That's good. Now I want you to do the same thing, close your eyes and really focus on the hum, okay? Right?
Yeah.
Now I want you to do the same thing. We're gonna do essentially,
Come on, right? Okay.
oh no, should we start?
No,
with
it's
it?
fine. It's probably dead.
It's fine.
It's okay.
So we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna open our mouth gradually. Okay?
Okay.
So we're gonna do the same note that you chose,
Okay.
but we're gonna start with an ooh. Okay?
Okay.
So
So with that same note.
Same note.
Ooh, okay.
yeah. Great. Now we're gonna go ah.
Okay.
Oh, not ah. Ah.
Oh.
See, just watch my mouth. Ooh, ah.
Okay.
Right?
Ooh, ah.
Exactly.
Ooh,
So
ah.
now we're doing ooh, then we'll go ah. Ah.
Ooh.
Like
Oh.
fudgy ah.
Okay. Ah.
Right? Do that again and really focus on the pitch. Just like okay?
Yeah, I was going down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting.
Can I touch your face?
Yeah.
Okay, do the same thing.
It's become a real.
So that's fine. Then you can understand that because you're a musician. Just sing "Falling Like Water."
Falling like water.
Okay, so these are the pitches you have to hit.
Falling like water.
Now you sing it, and I'm gonna just keep your pitch in the back. Ready?
I need to learn this, man. I'm so intrigued. No, definitely. I'm just wrap this up a little quickly because I would go on honestly because I'm really intrigued by learning how to sing. I would hit you up on that.
You should. The one thing I will say though, just since it's 3 minutes, right? That line, you've sung it beautifully. You just need to be intentional with your pitch.
Yeah.
But like, let's say you're singing, falling like water. What else do you need to convey as a singer?
Emotion.
That it's falling, right?
Yeah.
So I'm falling like water. You know?
Yes. Very true, actually. Thank you.
Of course.
I will learn. I mean, your studio is right here. Live 5 minutes away. I'm definitely going to bombard. Be like, teach me. Teach me your ways. No, but thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you for having me.
It was amazing. It was super insightful for me, and I hope everyone who's watching has got some level of insight in terms of there's no pressure on what you want to do. Just keep doing multiple things. I think that's the biggest thing that's come out of this for me is do multiple things. Slowly you'll start molding things you love.
Totally.
You'll find out, oh, this works, that works, this works, that works. And then you'll start crossing things over.
100%.
And that will make a big difference in your life. I mean, Avanti has completely exploded in the last 2-3 years, which is amazing to see. And yeah, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
This is really fun.
Likewise.
Yes,
Anyway.
and